back corner when I'm not presenting.
Listening in.
And listen in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bash University Live here on Tuesday night.
Take a quick break. Watch John Cruz's on the Tokyo rig.
Be a part of the show. Get some chances to win some awesome prizes.
As Bash you go. You know, we didn't have that back then. And dude, it can just...
That text thread gives me so much energy. I mean, like I'm dialed.
Go ahead, ask me now.
Yeah, of course. Wait till the camera's on. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. I know I am. And it's Tuesday evening, and you know what that means. A brand new Bass U Live for you tonight. And, dude, we've got a special one. I got to tell you, I don't get to sit on every week like you guys do. I sort of get little tastes of it. And I am really, really excited about this one. We've got a great guest coming on. Oh, yeah, I like that. Let me give you the official title of tonight's show and then tell you our guest. Tonight's show is How to Catch All the Biggest Bass in Your Life in a Highly Pressured Lake with Everything on the Line on Your Home Body of Water. That's the title of tonight's show.
It's about accurate.
I love that title.
Yes.
But more important than the title is the guest. Livesay joining us, a BASS superstar, of course, recent champion from Lake Fork. Yes. It's going to be a great show, and we look forward to hearing from everybody tonight. We look forward to your input. Let me intro the room real quick. We got a great one tonight. Right here in studio, sitting to my left, two very important dudes here at BU Live every Tuesday. Brian the Carpenter producing, and the one and only Rizzo doing some extracurricular activity, handling IMs, doing all sorts of stuff over here. Yes, guys.
All kinds of nonsense.
Good to see you tonight.
Heck yeah.
Very excited.
Yes.
Yes. Joining us via the Zoom machine, both of these, I used to just say this was for Pete, but both of these guys are the crust of Bash U. We've got JK, Justin Kimmel, and our Dean, Pete Glusick. How you doing, guys?
Doing good, man.
Good.
Super excited about tonight's show, man. What an amazing catch.
I am too. I'm excited. I've got so many questions. This is one where I've asked for a pen, and I'm frantically scribbling notes on the back of this paper. But I want to say something to both you guys, Justin and Pete. I miss you guys, man. I haven't seen you guys
I miss you too, man.
Yeah, I miss you, Justin. I haven't seen you forever. Pete, I see you in passing once in a while, but we don't really hang out. I miss you guys. I really do.
Soon.
We need to take a trip.
Soon.
Yeah, we need to take a BU trip. Things are getting better. We need to open it up. This is going to be a great show. Riz, I'm going to throw it to you real quick. Input from our viewers tonight, so critical, right? Important.
Yep.
They can get a hold of us a lot of ways. What's going on here?
That's right. As always, we're going to be taking IM questions during the show. The way that you can get involved in tonight's show is on www.bashu.tv/live. That's where I will be monitoring the message board for the most part. And, guys, if you're not signed up to be a Bash University TV member, now's a great time. We got the 50/50 promotion running right now, which is 50 days for free or $50 off your annual subscription to Bash U TV. That's over 800 videos, all to help you catch more big bass. We're releasing 3 new videos a week, guys. So really, if you haven't taken advantage of it yet, come on over, join the Bash U family. We really want you to get involved. And for our Bash University TV subscribers tonight, we got a grand prize going out at the end of the show. It's a $100 TH Marine gift pack. And for our folks over on Facebook watching, like and share tonight's feed, and you're going to be entered in to win $50 worth of Flambeau equipment storage.
Flambeau blade crate.
Yes.
Crankbank and Blade Crate, we've got them. If you're watching over on Facebook with us on social media tonight, please like and share it. Dude, these boxes are amazing. It's a new way to store your tackle. You're going to want to win these, I'm telling you. Like and share the feed. I want to throw in something and then throw it to Pete here. I want to remind everybody, Pete, this is for our non-subscribers watching tonight. This is a small, very teeny, minute glimpse of what you're going to get as a BU subscriber. We're about information. We're about education. We're about learning. We're about new techniques. Dude, this is just a glimpse, right, Pete? This is just a little taste of what they're going to get if they subscribe to Bash U.
It's Bash U is excellence in bass fishing, right? We've developed a program with the best anglers in the world teaching about what they're really good at. And Mike, it's been awesome, man. We were all active down on the Chesapeake this weekend, and the Bass University subscribers stopping us, flagging us down, talking. The greatest one, I have the greatest one ever, which was on the way down to the Chesapeake in the morning. I get past and guy's frantically banging on his window, and we're going 70, and we it was with Corey. It was the day I was with Corey.
Yeah.
From Tackle Warehouse.
Where was Daniel?
And yeah, I don't know. Daniel's still missing. But the guy, we roll down the window and he screams at us. He goes, "I'm listening to Bash U TV right now."
Oh, that's awesome.
That's wild, man.
And that's what guys are doing, right? They're listening in while they're driving. They're listening on the way to the launch ramp. Of course, JK over there has made a practice of listening to every night before he competes.
Gerald Swindle's
different topics,
lullabies. The sweet sounds of Gerald Swindle's positive mental attitude.
Hey, what could be more peaceful than filling yourself with confidence of knowledge before you go out there and compete, man? That'll help you sleep at night. So
It's
and we got a lot more
information
coming.
sharing, right, Pete?
It is.
It is, and we've got some more information that we're going to be sharing coming up. We're going to be launching another Bash University class, our next our Zoom class, which is going to be on the 24th and 25th of May. And I'm going to throw it over to JK. Who do we have that's going to be speaking
Point
for us
down,
those
Pete.
2 days?
Point down to JK.
Gussie, Jeff Gustafson. He's coming and joining us. We got Brian Newt, a couple of elite winners there. Drew Benton. He's fresh off of a close second place finish. I don't know if you guys saw his heartbreaking loss in the Open. Had a dead fish penalty. Otherwise, he had the bite to win.
Oh my God.
And then Clint Davis, the brush pile king.
Yeah.
And Greg Hackney.
Heck.
And then one more to be determined.
Outstanding. That's coming up real soon. And we're going to be at the Classic. So, guys, make sure you stop by if you're coming to the Classic. We are going to be there. We're going to be talking with everybody, as well as everybody. You'll have an opportunity to sign up for Bash U right there on site. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're a subscriber, you watch this show, make sure you come by, see us, and say hi. And that's what's going on in the world of Bash U, Ike.
Yes, I love it. That's all good stuff. And once again, appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited. I'm excited about our guest. I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to talk big bass. And speaking of big bass, I want to remind everybody real quick. This might be a little teaser, but we have Big Bass Week coming up next week across all the channels. So Bash U, Ike Live, Mike Iconelli channel, Ike Foundation, Pro Edge, across all the channels. Big Bass Week next week. And what a great way to kick it off.
Perfect timing,
Then with a guy that catches 40 pounds at will. Every time he goes fishing, I can't wait to talk big fish.
Full moon, warming trend. It's happening.
It's happening. It is happening.
Here they
it's
come.
happening a lot of places in the country right now. We want to. What do we got next? I know we want to talk a little. We've got some great companies that support BU. We want to talk a little bit about that.
Yep, we're gonna take a quick break here and bring it back. But guys, I wanted to take a second here to let you know that our folks over at Gills Gear got an awesome contest going on right now. And all you got to do to get entered is go to gillsgear.com, and the Bash University contest page will pop right up. Enter your information in there, and the deal is you're going to get a $250 gift card to Gills Gear if you win, and you're also going to get a 30-minute meet and greet with the Bash U crew on a live show, guys. So head over to gillsgear.com. Get involved in the Gills Gear Bash University contest.
30 minutes.
There you have it. All right, Brian.
That's a lot of minutes.
It's a lot of minutes.
We're going deep on everybody.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is
Shows
awesome.
till midnight.
Shows till midnight tonight.
I
So
like
Night Live. We're going to take a little break,
That's
right,
right.
Brian?
Yes, sir.
Listen, if you're watching, if you're listening right now, we're going to take a short break. Hang in there, because when we come back, Lee Livesay joining us, talking about all those big fish, talking about post-spawn, pre-spawn. You're not going to want to miss it. Hang in there. When we come back, more BU Live.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
We're different. Some would say obsessed. There's no place on earth we'd rather be than right here, right now. Performance-driven gear, so you can fish longer, harder. Gill's Performance Fishing.
2021 Red Crest champion Dustin Connell here, and if you watch live coverage, we just got done at Lake Eufaula. I caught my fish using the active target with Lowrance. What you didn't see is I run a Sea Clear power harness in my boat. One of the main advantages of running this harness is it does not drain my batteries down at all running my 4 units. And what that's going to allow me to do is I'm able to see my bait at 8 a.m. just as good late in the day. Y'all check them out at seaclearpower.com.
You take pride in your boat, so it deserves the best protection possible. Our durable woven fabric prevents ripping and provides UV protection, and our tape seams provide protection against the elements. The heavy-duty shock cord hem and strap and buckle system provide a tight and secure fit. Our top-of-the-line boat covers come with a ventilation system to keep your boat free from mold buildup. Empire Covers, protecting what you love.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new edition of Bass U Live. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. I know we are. We've got a great show for you tonight. We are talking about how to catch the biggest bass on your home body of water. We're going to be talking about fish in all 3 phases of the spawn. And even better than all that, we've got a current winner on Lee Livesay joining us in just a little bit. If you didn't get to see it, man, you missed it. You missed a great show. I got a chance to watch On and Off Live, and it was a show. I want to throw it to Pete real quick, too, before we get Lee on. Pete, this was pretty amazing as far as viewing pleasure when it comes to tournaments. I've not seen a performance like this in a very long time. I was giddy watching this. I was giddy. Tell me what you thought, Pete.
I was glued.
Yeah.
It's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
I was glued to it, and it just couldn't. It just never
Pete
stopped.
glue.
Glue was glue sect.
Yeah.
Glued. And they kept coming, the 9-pounder and the 7-pounders just kept coming.
Yeah.
He was sitting on a bunch of 4s. And then like they were tiny.
Yeah.
And I was just, it was so awesome to watch him just eliminate the 4-pounders eventually, get them all gone.
We were watching the live stream on the water, on the back channel on Sunday. When he caught that, the big one at the end, we were like, like losing our mind.
Yeah.
Did it make you want to throw your Senko rod in the water?
Yes,
and pick up a big topwater or swim it?
It absolutely did. I actually just snapped it over my knee.
Snap it over your knee. Break all your spinning rods. You don't need them anymore.
Bo Jackson, that.
It's a bunch of junk. Nobody needs spinning rods. It was
so much fun.
It was incredible. It was incredible. And if you're watching and listening tonight and you didn't get a chance to see it, I invite you to go back and watch it. Watch some of the highlights over there at bassmaster.com. It was incredible. It was an awesome, awesome performance. But I'm ready. I'd love to get Lee on. Bri, do we have Lee on? I want to get him on and start talking fishing, talking shop with him if we have him.
Yeah,
And we do. We've got him in the queue. Joining us now live on Bass U Live, Lake Fork champion and a superstar over at Bass, Lee Livesay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right.
Hey guys, how are y'all?
How you doing, man?
Cheers.
I'm good. I am really, really good. Not gonna lie.
Wow. I hear you. And it's funny because on my notepad, I had written rising BASS star. But after you won, I crossed that out and put superstar of BASS. So your title's changed since Lake Fork, which is pretty cool.
We're moving on up.
That's right. All right. First of all, this is Bass U. This isn't Ike Live. So we got to talk fishing shop the whole night, which is cool, But Lee, you know me. I like talking and rapping a little outside of that. I want to get this off my chest real quick, and I want to say, hold on. Let me maybe if I take my hat off.
Oh boy,
it'd be even better. I want to say thank you for showing excitement and energy and passion on the water. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to tell you the reason I say it. Let me put my hat back on because I'm balding. The reason I say that is I've been criticized for so many years for doing that, and I'm from the North, right? I'm a Yankee. I'll admit it. I'm a Yankee.
I'll admit it.
And
Good luck denying it.
right, and make matters worse, I'm from Jersey. I'm from the armpit of America, right?
Don't
So,
admit that.
I get the criticism, but now finally, destiny fulfilled. We have a true Southerner, the pride of Texas, big bass specialist, showing excitement and energy and passion. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. It was awesome.
There was a lot of emotion in each one of those fish catches. If you couldn't tell, man, I had a lot of extra stuff just besides the tournament behind me and watching me on that one. That's real raw emotion. That's no show. That's just, you could hear it on that last fish that I caught. I could have punched through a brick wall.
Yeah, you could tell. And Pete, I'll double back with you on this one. It's real, right? When you're watching it, it's real, raw energy. I was watching and it reminded me a lot, when I look back on my career, it reminded me a lot of my Philadelphia win, home body of water, lots of crowds, fans, family, that energy, that raw motion and energy. I could feel it. I felt it coming through the TV. And I really appreciate it. Pete, did you feel that too?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And the thing that like a lot of people might not get is, all right, yeah, Mike, you were the hometown favorite going into the Delaware, and Lee, you were the hometown, everybody's pick, and they think, oh, they got such a huge advantage. But what people don't account for is the huge amount of pressure that is on that was on both of you guys in that instance. And I guess the emotion comes out. You had to feel that pressure too, right, Lee?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not just pressure. You overthink things. You try to catch them where they're not. You always think you have the sneaky stuff, and the best stuff gets found, and you just have to go fishing. All these guys are good, and they find everything, and it's just there's so much to it that nobody realizes. And at the end of the day, you just got to go catch the biggest ones you can find.
Yeah. So true. And if you're watching and listening right now and you don't know what Lee's talking about when he said find the biggest ones you could find, let me remind everybody of these weights. Brian the Carpenter, give me exacts here. Do I have them somewhere?
Yeah. Page 3.
Page 3. Okay. Busted the 100-pound mark, which hasn't been done that many times. Only 32 anglers in the history of bass, going back to the 70s, have busted that mark. That's incredible. And day 4 weight, if this doesn't send shivers down your spine, 42.3. Not breaking the dirty 30, but breaking the, what is it, orgy 4G? what am I trying to say? I don't even know.
Sporty 40.
Sporty 40.
The filthy 40.
The filthy 40. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Lee, I just want to straight up ask you, did you ever think that would happen in an elite tournament? Like, I know that kind of stuff. You live on Fork, that kind of stuff happens. Did you ever imagine that would happen in an elite event on the final day?
never on the final. I mean, you always dream about it. You know,
Yeah.
everybody sits there and says, "Oh, we're going to catch a 80-pound catfish when they're 8 years old, catching channel cat," and everybody says, "You know, I'm going to catch a 40-pound bag and come back and beat everybody," but it never happens. Nothing ever happens how it's supposed to be. And this was my day, and every single variable happened exactly how it was supposed to, and it worked out. It was just crazy. Stars aligned one time ever that never happens, and it was just surreal.
Wow. I'm so glad that was all caught in film. It was amazing. It was incredible. Let's get to the good stuff now, because I know we've got a lot of people watching that saw it and they want to know the guts of it, right? They want to know exactly how all this went down. And Lee, as I watched this, one thing came clear through me that I want you to explain to our viewers and listeners tonight, which is on any given body of water, not all the fish are all spawning or all post-spawn or all pre-spawn. I heard you talking about it several times on live. Talk a little bit about that, how you were mentioning that fish at Fork were in all phases of the spawn. You were catching them coming, going. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that's important for our listeners to understand.
Yeah, and I was fishing a few different things. I was catching pre-spawners, a few post-spawners, but what I was fishing was a gizzard shad spawn. And there's a difference in a gizzard shad spawn and a threadfin spawn.
Wow.
The first 2 days, it wasn't good in practice at all. I mean, it really wasn't. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I would catch a few on that offshore kind of. When I say offshore, I'm talking about those bars like I was fishing, you know?
Yeah.
Not just fishing wood or the bank. And I wasn't comfortable. And I had some threadfin spawn stuff where I knew I would go through, 15, 25 fish and make the cut probably. I'm going to catch 2 or 4 good ones a day and make it. And then I can take a shot, because just shooting right out the gate was just too iffy,
Yeah.
So I fished a threadfin spawn the first 2 days in the mornings, and I would catch, 1 pounder, 1 pounder, 2 pounder, 1 pounder, 1 pounder, boom, 5 pounder,
Right.
And the same thing, and then I got comfortable, made the cut, and I said, all right, man, this is my chance. I'm still up there, still have a shot. And I went and fished those gizzard shad spawns. They're spawning on shell beds in, 1.5 to 5.5 foot of water. And there's just a different class of fish that are eating those gizzards, because those gizzards are, 5 inches to 10 inches long, and the fish are really smart because they're mature, but it's just different. And those big fish, whether they're pre-spawn or post-spawn, those giant fish want to eat a big meal. They don't want to eat a little threadfin. So they're in there eating the big fish and the big baits,
Yeah, that's a great mindset, and it's, I think, a great point to note that there are 2 different kinds of spawns, right? So they're the little shad, right, the threadfins, and you see them spawning, but those gizzards, dude, they're big. That forage is big.
They're huge.
Yeah, I've seen them like bigger than most of the keepers I catch in MLF events, right? I mean, giants, like big, giant gizzard shad. And you believe that's a different class of bass are targeting the gizzards than the threadfin?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you might go catch a 10 pounder eating on the threadfin spawn, but there's just a lot more small ones. And out there on those where the gizzards are spawning on that deeper kind of shell, it's big ones in there eating. I caught some 3 pounders, but that was the smallest one I caught was like a 310 out there, I think.
Wow.
There's some big differences here, and I'd like you to dive in, because the threadfin spawn, right? That's a morning deal, right? And that goes away.
For the most, they spawn at night a lot into the morning. A lot of those threadfin will spawn on grass and rock and docks and floats and log, whatever kind of object they can get on. You see them a lot in the grass at Fork, the potato grass, gator grass, and if you're around docks, they'll spawn on the floats, or they'll spawn on anything, kind of objects into the morning, like you said, and they kind of dissipate. Those gizzards, man, they really like spawning on those shells, those hard clay points with shell, that hard bottom, just a little bit more main lake, and they kind of just spawn on stuff you can't really see, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and Lee, how deep will they?
Go ahead,
I'm
Justin.
sorry.
I said, how deep will they actually spawn? Sorry.
I don't know that exactly, but those ones that I'm fishing for, they're spawning in that 1 foot to 5 foot, that range, maybe a little deeper, maybe a little deeper. Those fish I'm catching are in 3 foot of water,
And the gizzards will spawn in the sunshine, right? That's key for them versus the threadfin that goes away.
We had 2 or 3 spots today. We'd make a cast with a big bait, and there'd literally be like 10-inch gizzards follow the bait back every cast. Not one cast, every single cast.
Wow. That's incredible. And if you're watching right now, Lee just said something very important. If you're not familiar with the shad spawn or the gizzard spawn, when you throw that bait out there, swim bait, topwater, spinner bait, whatever it is, and you see those fish, the threadfins or the gizzards following your deal back, dude, they're trying to hump it. They're trying to mate with your lure, bro. That is a great sign that those things are spawning. But, Lee, I had a question, and let me remind everybody, if you've got questions or comments, please send them through, because Rizzo's over here. I know he's already backed up. We're not even 5 minutes in the interview. But give me a time frame when these gizzards spawn, Lee, because we got people at Gunnersville. We've got gizzards here in New Jersey. They've got gizzards in upstate New York and certain fisheries. So,
do they actually spawn in Jersey? Like, is this a thing?
I don't know. Maybe they don't.
Running down the lake, 5-pounders blowing shad out of the water?
No. Well, we don't have 5-pounders here, but we do have gizzard shad. But is there a water temperature or when do the gizzards spawn?
I'm not going to say a temperature because I never even have my stuff on. I just roll and catch what I catch. I'm very rough on my fishing. I just catch them. That's it. But here, it's that late March towards the end of April is when the gizzards spawn, and they like to spawn in the mornings, but early on, that water's still a little cold, so those big gizzards spawn in the middle of the day. I mean, especially in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then later in April, like right now, late April, first 2 weeks of May, our threadfins will spawn. I'm not saying the gizzards still aren't, but the threadfins are smaller, so they need that little bit warmer water temperature to spawn. So they'll spawn in April, 1st of May, and they really like to spawn at night because the water temperatures are up, and they'll spawn into the morning, and then.
Gotcha.
That's interesting.
Gotcha.
But I saw both species spawning during the middle of the day at Fork this past week. Whether I saw threadfins in millful spawning, I saw gizzards, on main bars spawning during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
You had mentioned, Lee, that you had identified. I think Zona was mentioning it, that this tournament was not going to be one on sight fishing on a spawn scenario. You had ID'd that going in. What made you have that kind of prediction that it was going to, and was it a post spawn or was it pre and post that you were catching? How did it get one?
I had one post spawner the third day, and everything else I caught was pre spawn. Maybe one or two mixed in that was so far post spawn that I couldn't tell because she was full of gizzards. A lot of them will spawn in February, and they're so chock full of gizzards, you just can't tell.
Yeah.
I mean, and then that's a lot more than you think. They spawn earlier than you think, and they'll spawn until June here. But, for me, it was just fishing those places where they're both at. Who cares what they are as long as they weigh what they weigh.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I want to change the topic. Let me remind everybody again, get your questions through. I want to change the topic to baits, Lee, because this was the other part that I had so much fun watching. And, imitating those big gizzards, I think, is a key thing, right? Like, I don't think you would have had the success you had if you would have thrown a 4-inch wacky rig or or something like that. I mean, you were throwing baits that 100% imitated those big gizzards. Talk to me a little bit about some of the baits you were using last week.
Right, and it's just the same thing. Those big fish want to eat a big bait. They don't want a chip. They want a whole Subway sandwich. So
right.
It was, I caught a couple on a big Magnum square bill in a shad color, just a huge Magnum square bill. I weighed my two biggest ones the first day on, and then I caught pretty much the rest of them. I did catch two big ones the first day on a jerk bait, And but that was on the threadfin spawn in the morning, you know, a little bit smaller profile. And then the last 2 days I caught everything on a big saltwater super spook in a bone color matching the shad, and a big 316 Rising Sun 8-inch swim bait in just a shad color, you know, just matching the hatch. And I caught some fish on a big glide, but man, I lost a big one on the glide, and I never wanted to throw it again because I didn't want to lose one again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the deal was, man, it's usually a swim bait deal, but they see so many swim baits by this late in the season that those fish are too smart. The wind has to be just crashing in, or it has to be early, you know, low light for them to eat it because it goes so slow. So I threw that big topwater and if you watched me, I was really erratic with, I wasn't just walking the dog. I was popping it, you know, like a pencil popper, almost just jerking it around, splashing. I didn't want them to see the bait. I wanted them to know there was a shad up there hurt and make them react to it. Because, they were super shallow, you know, 1 to 3 foot. So I think that was key for me to kind of get. And I still weighed, you know, multiple fish each day on the swim bait. But a lot of guys weren't throwing that topwater all day long. And the final day, man, it caught 4 of my 5 the final day, and they were all giants.
It was crazy, and you just said something really key right there. And I want everybody listening and watching to just listen to what Lee said all day. And too many people put that topwater down. I'm guilty of it too, dude.
Yeah.
I am very, very guilty of it. That sun gets high, 10 by 11 o'clock. I'm like, it's over, right? In my mind, I'm thinking it's over. And when that bites on, dude, throw it all day, please. Throw it all day. I want to talk about that bait though a little. Let me jump back. Saltwater super spook, which I don't know if there's a difference between the saltwater and the freshwater, but tell me about that bone color, because Lee, you're not the only one. Like, I've seen Jacob Wheeler, I've seen so many guys over the years. Aaron, I've seen all on the gizzard shad bite. The gizzard shad are not bone. They are silverish white with a little purple fluorescence in it, but bone seems to be the color. Why is that? Tell me about that.
Part of it's just, most of those shad have a whitish belly, but, for me, it's just like, at Chickamauga when I won last year, I was throwing a bright orange frog,
Right.
Who's seen a bright orange anything out there? I just want them to see it.
Right.
I want them to see it and know it's there. And, especially with the spook, I was working it so fast and erratic, they didn't get a good look at it. I just want them to know it's there and see it. Because the gizzards in the lake right now, the lake's really clear. And I watched them today. They're really gray right now, almost a bluish gray and really light colored. You can barely see them, even in that clear water. So it's just, I want them to see it more than anything. And that bone just really, really stands out. But, pretty much every fish and bait fish for the most part has a whitish belly, everything almost.
Yeah.
And it's just, they think it's the bottom of a fish and they're going to come up there and eat it.
Yeah, total reaction strike. I love it. Justin, give me your thoughts. I know you're from a part of the country where you see the herring spawn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And another great example, right? Like, freaking, dude, herring don't look like bone, but the bone plugs in your part of the world kill them too. Give us your thoughts on that.
It works. It works for sure. It's cool to see guys like Brandon Cobb, who are like masters of the herring spawn over here, go over to Fork and just, kind of translate, do the same kind of program. A few different baits. It's really cool to see these big baits. But I've got to ask Lee, your hookup to land ratio was insanely impressive to me.
Very good. Yes, it was.
On a super spook. Because to me, a super spook, one, will get bigger bites than a lot of topwaters out there. But two, sometimes it breaks your heart. Now, maybe we didn't see that on camera, but you getting those fish in, like, I need to know everything from what hooks you were using. Like, if you did double split rings, I want to know braid, rod setup. You got to go back in with me right here. I've had it. It broke my heart last year in an open, and I'm telling you, I need to know everything because that was perfect.
Yeah, man. For me, it was, and it's a plug, but for me, it was that rod. And we talked about that all day today too. If you noticed, it was on kind of a parabolic, more, whippy rod, and I just got those rods literally the day before I went to the lake. It was a Halo HFX 7-foot medium heavy, but it was the cranking rod, and it's real parabolic.
Only
I had it on.
huh?
Yeah, only 7 foot. I wanted it to be. I don't care about hooking them. Because I was using braid and big. I mean, if you saw me, I just pretty much just reeled into them. And swung back a little bit, but. I had big hooks on it, this big triple grip 1/0, meat hooks, and just
triple grips.
And it's, I know a lot of the guys down in like Florida where they're fishing grass with the spook is a big deal down there in some of those lakes that you don't think about. And I know a lot of those guys throw the same thing down there because those big fish and they kind of have to, I'm not saying winch on them, but, they have to pull on them because of the grass, and it's, I don't know if I just got lucky, but I feel like it was mainly the rod, because if y'all saw it, I mean, I was making the longest cast I could possibly make. I mean, bombs with that 40-pound braid and that spook. You can throw it a mile, and every one of them but one hit it almost as far as I could throw it out there. And I never lost one on that top.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I love I love to hear about that parabolic rod because I've been a big believer in that too for a lot of years with. My belief goes even deeper than that. My belief is with treble hooked baits, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Topwater, jerk bait, rattle trap, crank bait. I throw a very similar rod. So I'm so glad to hear that. My other question, just to add to Justin's, was Lee, was it straight braid, or I know a lot of guys put a short mono leader on it, or how did you set that up?
Straight braid. I didn't want anything in between. I just straight braided it, man, and. I mean, none of them even had it really good. If you watch, they either had it, crossways in their mouth or on their head.
Yeah.
Candy bar.
Candy bar. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that on the show. Yeah.
But you watch, I'm real easy with them. I hook them and, I'm reeling, but I'm not yanking. I'm not pulling. I'm watching my angles. Angles are a lot when you're fighting fish, especially at the boat. And, I mean, you can't help it when they do a cartwheel 40 yards out there, but it's just a lot of it's pulling the rod too hard or too soft and keeping the right angle and grabbing them, and getting lucky.
So Lee, we know that you were we know that you were a college football player, and what stood out to me was like when you hook a fish, you instantly go like shoulders over the toes, knees at like 90 degrees, like in a stance. Now, is this to manage the fish, or is it in case one of those 9-pounders actually jumps out and tries to attack you? You're ready to you're ready to go.
It might be both.
Yeah,
it might be both.
It's definitely a little bit of both on that lake, but man, you can't play around with those fish. You can't be out of position when they go to jump. It's too late by the time.
Yeah.
You can't stick your rod in the water when they're coming up. You got to be ready. You got to have your rod down. And I mean, Keith Combs is a cranking guy. Watch that dude when he hooks a fish cranking. The first thing he does is exactly like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Keith. I mean, he is straight up. It is what it is. When they come up, you have to reel as fast as you can to try to keep their head down and put your rod down. Same thing with a big crankbait out deep or a top water in a foot of water. It's just, you can't be playing around. You can't be messing around because it's too late by the time you react a little bit late.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let me remind everybody, you're watching a brand new BU Live. We got Lee Livesay on with us right now. Amazing victory on Lake Fork last week. We're talking all about it. If you've got questions or comments, please send them through. Riz, I know we're backed up already. Let's send some questions through to Lee. What do we got?
Yeah, that's right. Lee C is going to be our first one. He's going to get a $25 Gills Gear gift card for this question, and he wants you to know, Lee, talk a little bit about your casting distance and why it was so important in triggering these strikes.
Good question.
I'm one of those guys that on these high-pressured lakes like Fork, man, I believe those fish, you have to be as quiet as you can, and if I know they didn't show it on live, but sometimes I would literally take a break. I would not cast because I didn't want the fish to feel my bait's vibration, hear it, or see it for sure. I mean, the few times, and a couple of them weren't like intentional breaks. Like a couple of times I backlashed or wanted to retie this, and I would sit down.
I take
4
that
or 5 minutes. and they would come up blasting like the big ones, and I'd be like, okay, you know. So after I'd fish for a little bit and nothing, I'd take a little break every now and then, and sure enough, those big mature fish would just come up busting, and I'd get right on top of them. But anyways,
How about that?
the long casts were just for stealth. I mean, if you saw, most of the time my trolling motor was up, my Minn Kota Raptors were down, and I
noticed that.
I was just trying to bomb because you never know where they're going to come up, and I want to be as far away from them as I can, just for the
All
noise
your
aspect.
electronics turned off?
Oh yeah, 24/7. You know that.
How about it?
I don't.
What kind of reel? What
I'm
kind
so
of
glad
reel
you're-
were you?
Pete, I just want to say real quick. I'm so glad Lee's saying this because
Yeah.
I never even think that. I never even think about that. You know, I get so caught up in the day. You know what I mean? The hustle and bustle. You're looking at your watch. You know, you got half the day's gone. You're looking. You know, you forget a lot about those little things like that. That's a great lesson, especially on pressured fisheries. You know,
Yeah.
Pressure is the deal. I won both of my Elite Series tournaments with my trolling motor up and my talons or Raptors down, making long casts on top water.
Catching big
Wow.
ones.
incredible,
Stealthy Lee.
How to get to the big ones?
incredible.
I was asking about the reel to you. That thing was flying out there. What was the reel? Was it a bigger spool or anything special about that reel?
Actually, it wasn't a bigger spool because I had the 40-pound braid on there. That 40-pound braid, you can put it on a 150 and cast it a mile. You know, if it was bigger braid like 65, you'd have to put it on a 200 or a 300 if you were throwing something really big. But it was just a Shimano Mentanium is what I was throwing the spook with.
Yeah, good one.
Man, it was flying out there.
Riz, what else we got coming through?
Yeah, Patrick Loudon wants to know what are some of the ways that you find shell beds to target? Do you use your map study or do you look for them with your graphs?
Oh, good question.
A little bit of both. It just depends where they're at. Once you kind of find, and you can find them with your graph. I was showing Justin today, the guy that was with me, what the shell beds look like on my graph. But some of them will get so shallow you can't really tell, and a lot of it's just time on the water. You know, from throwing a square bill up there and filling, or hooking a shell or whatnot.
yeah.
But most of the time they're on some kind of point or a little knockout or something like that that has some kind of wind on it or current on it, where there's hard bottom or a hard, like at Fork, they like to be around the little clay points and stuff like that. But once you kind of see it, you can either graph it or see it on your mapping. Like me, I was using my Humminbird Lake Master mapping, and it was like clockwork. And you know, I already know everything out there for the most part, but I would go, okay, this looks like this. Let me look at this.
Yeah.
You know, on my mapping, and just my shading, I could go and go and go, and you can feel it whether you're throwing a Carolina rig with the weight on the bottom or throwing a square bill and filling the shells. And all of them, if you're throwing something on the bottom, you're going to hook a shell every now and then. The good ones, you will.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick when I watched, you know, the great thing about Bassmaster Live is they were going from you, Lee, to Patrick, back to Chris. You know, they had a nice rotation of watching all you guys, and a lot of you guys were fishing very similar places. And you know, after a while, you could look at it, and they all sort of look the same, right? You could almost see the light bottom. You know, to me, it almost looked like sand, you know, but that light clay sand style bottom. And it was funny because I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn, I fished Fork a lot. I remember driving past those points all the time. I never stopped on any of that shit. Big mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just look at my finishes on Fork. They're all toward the bottom. That's now you know why. But visually, they look very similar as well.
What is, you said you were showing your customer today what they look like on your graph. If you had to describe what they look like on your graph, what would that look like?
Almost like gravel. You know, the best one I showed them today that was a little deeper. It kind of reminds me of what a little gravel bar would look like for sure.
And that's like on side imaging.
That's on side imaging.
Mike,
it's very obvious when you see it. There's something different right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can go over every spot where you've caught a bass on that lake with your side imaging, no matter how shallow it is, and you're going to go, something's different right there. You can take a 4-year-old and then say, what's different about this picture? And they'd point at, you know, where it's showing.
Well,
That's true.
We were talking on the break, Mike, and Lee had guide trips today and yesterday, and right after the win, I'm like, what a lottery ticket that guy had.
Yeah, I would have triple charged. I would have upcharged him, like triple charged him.
Yeah.
You got to take advantage of the situation, you know.
Make them go auction style.
I like it. Did you got 40 pounds again yesterday and today? Is that true?
Today, yeah, we caught some big ones today, man. We actually had Justin Sword from NetBait and American Bait Works today, and man, he got some big ones on the swim bait today.
Wow.
We probably had 4 or 5 doubles. I found a group today I've never fished before. I was idling away from a place I usually fish, and I'd actually fished it in practice for the elite event, and I just said, man, that looks good. And I went over there and made like 5 casts, not feeling it. And I went to the spot I usually catch them on today, didn't catch them again. I was idling out, and I saw one shad just go, shoop. I said, I think that was a shad. It was way over there. We pulled up, fish, nothing. I literally kicked my trolling motor on high to leave. I was like, this was stupid. Shouldn't have stopped again. That's twice it got me a spot. And they went crazy about 20 yards from us, 20 of them. We sat there and blasted them for probably an hour, on Topwater.
Oh, my God.
Wow. That is crazy. I want one other note from me to think about these points is visually they all look the same, right? They look like main lake or secondary points.
Right.
Are these stopping places for fish coming and going? Like, is there a deep water access on most of these places?
Most of them, yeah. Most of them are either, like you said, a main lake point close or coming and going in a major spawning pocket, whether it's the first one in or second one in, some of them are kind of little hidey holes. You can't tell there's a point there, but on your lake master, you can see a little dimple sticking out or something like that. But they're all either close to, the main lake points or those secondary points coming into a major spawning pocket was the deal for me.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. I know I'm checking our social media, and we've got a few coming in. I see 2 or 3, and they're all the same questions. And it's basically Bob, Stan, and Tony all have the same questions. And they are, Lee, give me one tip on how I can catch bigger fish. That's a real general question, but I think a lot of people catch a lot of same class fish, right? They're catching 3-pounder, 3-pounder, and they're unable to get a bigger bite. Give these guys one tip on something they can do to trigger a bigger fish.
I know it's a super simple answer, and they might not like it, but throwing bigger baits.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't out there throwing a Carolina rig with a lizard on it or throwing a wacky worm or throwing a popar. I was throwing baits that imitate big gizzard shad. And, that might not connect to their lake, but like for this event, it was throwing those bigger baits that those mature fish are wanting to eat. They're eating those 8, 9, 10, 11-inch gizzard shad, and just throwing that bigger bait and being confident in what you're doing is huge.
Yeah. Yep. I got to be honest with you. So, we had a big bait guy come through, Brian, about 3-4 months ago in the winter. Oliver Nye came through here and January and opened up our eyes here just internally to the big bait. And we've been throwing it a lot. I noticed a lot of the elite guys throwing it. I noticed a lot of the MLF guys throwing it. Do you guys get some hate mail from the hardcore swim bait guys on why the hell are you exposing this? I know we have, so I'm hoping you did too. Hope we're not getting all the hate mail.
There's a few of them. I did get some hate because I took a $300 swim bait and wrote on it with a Sharpie during the event. I did see that post today. For sharpening a $300 paint job on a swim bait.
Oh, man.
Those guys enjoy it. They just think we don't know what we're doing, which we don't.
That's crazy. Lee, I got to ask you something because I heard this, and how rumors fly around. I have no clue if this actually happened, but coverage ended at 2 p.m. your time, 3 p.m. for us. So we all stopped watching and had to wait till weigh-in, wondering if Lee could I mean, let's be honest. I was sitting here rooting for you to unseat Dean Rojas, like a lot of us were.
Yeah.
Just because we want to see records fall, like that would have been so cool.
Yeah,
for you to break that.
and Pete and Dean don't get along. So.
Oh, whatever.
We're buds.
We hashed that out on Bash Live.
You did hash that out. That's right.
They wrestled around in the grass and worked out their differences.
They put on their singlets and wrestled. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
That is a horrible thought.
Yeah.
But I heard,
Pete's singlet.
I heard that you stopped by another spot at the ramp, and you may or may not have had another big fish encounter that we did not get to see. Tell us about that, if that actually happened.
Ooh.
It was bigger than anything I caught that day, and I'd missed that fish on I want to say the second day of the tournament, but I'm first or second day of the tournament. That fish missed my bait, and I went back. I had a 7.6 was the smallest one I had. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go try to catch that fish. And I made I pulled in there and I shut my motor down and I drifted in with the wind and put my Raptors down and stood up real quiet and made the longest cast ever to her. And she just, looked like somebody put water out of a helicopter and missed it twice. 9 with about 7 minutes to go. And it probably wouldn't have gave me the record, but I probably would have beat Scroggins. So,
wow.
Yeah, I think they said you needed a 10 and change.
Yeah, I needed, and she might have been. We went back to her today. Me and Justin did. We threw 2 or 3 times, and she came up and blew up about a 12-inch gizzard shad about 20 yards from the boat. Would never touch our bait.
Wow.
That's
running down the lake, blowing shad out of the water.
Yeah. You know what's incredible about this story, and this is interesting to me, Lee. I want your perspective on this. This is a fish that lived in that spot, right? You encountered it the second day. You encountered it the last day of the tournament. You went back today, which is days later, and the same fish is in the same vicinity. Is that a common thing for big fish? Is that a common thing big fish do on Lake Fork or all over the country?
For sure, but the deal with this one is it's really main lake, and a lot of those fish are still spawning, and the shad aren't as thick out there. So there's probably just a few fish on those points compared to the ones that are a little further north or back. So you can, and we had the same thing on another point. Like we pulled up on a big main lake bar this morning, and Justin had just a giant one, just boom, missed the spook, and we literally came back like an hour later and made the same cast, the same exact stump, and she ate it. We caught a great big one, 8-pounder or whatever it was, 855, I think what it weighed. But it was the only bite we had on that point. She was the only one on that point.
Yeah.
The rest are either in that pocket spawning or, there's just not a lot of bait out there. So it's kind of the same scenario. So it is a thing, not always, but who knows? It could have been a different fish, but I'm pretty sure it was her.
Yeah, that's another mistake I make a lot. I if I miss one or I have an opportunity to fish and miss it or it comes off, I kind of write it off as that was my chance. That was my chance. It's over. I'll go find another one. I'm very guilty of not going back to the same spot over the course of a tournament and rechecking. So that's another really good lesson. Let me remind everybody, you're watching Bash U Live, man. This is a good one. We're talking big bass. We're talking with Lee Livesay Jesus. What a tournament. Unbelievable.
Lee Livesay Jesus is his new name.
Yes, yes. It should be. What an amazing event.
Pretty sure he was walking on water on Sunday.
I'm telling you, I would be too. Riz, we got any other real good ones? Patch, I know we got a ton there, but give us 1 or 2 really, really good ones for Lee. What do we got?
Yeah. Other than the Super Spook down there on Lake Fork, what are some of your other favorite topwaters to throw targeting above average size fish?
Like a big whopper plopper, we throw that a lot when it's real windy, and it was better earlier on. But it's if we have a little front come through and it's real windy, and that spook just isn't making enough noise, we'll throw that whopper plopper. We'll throw a lunker punker on the bigger ones, and I throw that big Magnum Top Dog or whatever it is. Y'all probably saw me throw that some this week. It catches a lot of great big ones. It's probably 2.5 times the size of a saltwater spook. So any of those Magnum walking baits are huge, but you'll catch a 10-pounder on a on a pop or two, just in a different scenario. You know, if you're fishing on the stump line going into a pocket or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And
You talked
Get the
about
Net
the,
wants, Get the Net wants to know, at what point in the tournament did you know that you had it in the bag?
Oh, good question.
When Patrick Walters pulled up beside me at the weigh-in and said, "What you got?" And I kept going like that till we got to 45, and then I said a little bit, and he said, "Oh."
It was
Lake
nice.
Fork, you never know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was nice. Patrick Walters was very humble. You know, he's a good guy. I've known Patrick for a while, working with Rapala, but it's nice to see that camaraderie there. And you know, saw.
Can you imagine catching 2 30-pound bags and not win?
Well, that's
like
impossible to have those kind of bags and not win, but it happened.
Yeah. Shout out to Patrick. What a tournament. You know,
Yeah.
he still had a great tournament.
He did.
And you know what he said to me this week was, "I'm really glad Lee won."
Yeah,
that's pretty
awesome.
cool. You know,
that's awesome.
He's a good dude. I thought he won. You know, he was beside me a lot of the time, and I could see him catching them. I was like, man, Patrick's probably catching 10-pounders, you know, and he's got 45 and I've got 42. So it's never over on Fork. You know, obviously you've heard it in my voice when I caught that last one. I thought I had it, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, that's I like that other anglers are appreciating your win, because every time I won, people would just come up to me and say, "I hate you." I don't know what
Except in Philly.
Yeah, except in Philly. Everywhere else, they said, "I hate you." Lee, can you hang in there with us for a quick break? Can we get you for one more small segment when we come back? Would that work for you?
Sure.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, listen to me, everybody. This is a brand new BU Live. You're getting some great lessons from the champion at Lake Fork, Lee Livesay. Hang in there with us, man. When we come back, we're going to be cornering Lee about a few more things, talking about Lee's confidence in the last few years fishing elites, and a few more tips. A new BU Live coming back to you after this break.
Moment on the water not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Tackle Warehouse is proud to sponsor the FLW Pro Circuit and is the official tackle retailer of FLW, providing proven bass fishing gear as well as the newest and hottest tackle. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service staff can help you every step of the way. And we offer free ground shipping on orders over $50. Tackle Warehouse, everything for the bass angler at the lowest prices. Guaranteed.
I have to be constantly on the lookout for new techniques to stay on the top of my game.
Giant.
Some have been more successful than others.
Giant.
The finesse fingernail.
Happens every time.
The chain gang.
Broke it off.
The crow's nest.
Never let go.
And don't even get me started on tackle management, especially trying to stop rust and corrosion. Peanut butter.
Not good.
Motor oil.
Gotta keep the rust off all these baits.
WD-40.
Gotta keep the rust off.
Silica, toothpicks, Q-tips, the list goes on and on. I'm hard on tackle, I fish fast, I need my tackle organized and protected. I can't be worrying about losing baits to rust. And when it comes to tackle management, there's only one solution. Flambeau Tackle Storage Systems with Z-Rust technology. The original anti-rust tackle box. Uncompromised clarity. Renowned durability. The infused anti-rust option that is FDA safe and free of harmful chemicals. The organization options are endless, but there's only one. One box, one anti-corrosion technology, one family-owned, American-made brand, Flambeau Z-Rust Tackle Solutions. Preserve, perform, repeat.
And we're live.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new edition of Bash U Live. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Man, we are having a great time here in the studio, learning a ton, and it's a treat to have Lee Livesay on tonight. And we're talking about all kinds of stuff. We're talking about big baits, big bass. We're talking about pre-spawn, post-spawn, spawn. We're talking about everything tonight. Let me remind you, if you've got a question, if you've got a comment, please send them through. Riz is sitting here. He's waiting for him.
He's right there.
Please send him through. Let me also remind you again that this is the smallest sample of what you get as a BU subscriber. Man, if you want to learn more, if you want this juice, like you're getting this juice tonight, if you want juice at your fingertips whenever you need it, phone, computer, tablet, whatever, bag phone, dude, be a BU subscriber. Pete, chime in for me here real quick, Pete. If they're not a subscriber, how can they do it? Is it easy? What can they do?
It's super easy. Go over to bashu.tv and click sign up. And just not only is the information going to really help you, because we've designed it, to serving up the best anglers in the world, teaching. It's excellence in training, really. There's so much stuff, Mike. We got the Rapala VIP program for our subscribers, which is about 40% off. Flambeau, 40% off. Cashin, $25 off the Icon series, 30% off Missile, 25% off Gills gear. Sea Clear Power, which you got to have if you're running all these advanced electronics, a dedicated harness, 15% off.
Even if you're shutting your electronics off, you should
still
have
have
it.
That's right.
Exactly.
Shut off cleaner.
Yes.
They will shut off quicker and start up faster.
That's right.
That's right. No energy leakage.
That's right.
And Empire covers. If you've got something outdoors, whether it's a boat, whether it's an RV, you need a cover for it to keep it tight. 15% off any purchase at Empire Covers. All that's available and more and a lot more over at our pro members offers if you're a subscriber to Bash U TV. Wow. So there's a lot there. Not just helping you become a better angler, which is obviously our focus, but we're going out of our way to make sure you guys get all the gear you want at a really good price.
Man, that's some good stuff. And Riz, we've got some prizes tonight. We're doing a grand prize, and we also have a like and share contest. What do we got here?
That's right. We got a grand prize going out to a Bash U TV subscriber. That's $100 worth of TH Marine gear. You can see some of that down there in front of Mike. We got a troll jacket, TH Marine G-Force, G-Juice, keep your fish alive, all that good stuff. And then a $50 Flambeau pack for a Facebook like and share winner.
Yes, that's awesome.
Blade crate and...
Yeah, Blade Crate, Crank Bank, good stuff.
This, that, and the third.
I want to jump back into it, Lee, and I want to talk about something. Before I do that, I got to know something. How has guiding on Lake Fork, how has, living in that part of the country, how has that positively impacted your career? Because one of the things I look back on in my career, when I look back on, I say, I often wondered how much of a better angler I would have been had I moved to a Gunnersville or a Fork or, I want to hear it. How has that impacted your career?
Well, I'll start off with kind of totally off the hitch right there. How it's helped me a lot. Guiding has been introducing me to a lot of my sponsors.
Yeah.
To be honest. And I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but it really has. And I appreciate a lot of the non-endemic stuff that I have. And it came from guiding and meeting people. And that's even what got me into fishing the Bassmasters. I was with my buddy Matt McMillan as a client at that time, and now he's a really good friend, and he has a truck and insurance company and PK Logistics now, a logistics trucking company out of Fort Worth, Texas, that, I went on he came on a guide trip with me, and we just smashed him. He said, "Hey, man, you're pretty good. You ought to fish the Opens. I fished with some of the elite guys. I think you're pretty good." And he paid for my entries that year, and boom, it went from there, So it's helped me not just on the water, but fishing with the sponsors and all the non-endemic stuff too. But as far as the fishing stuff goes, I mean, you must be the best angler in the universe, Mike, because I don't know how you could survive from where you're from, you know. I mean, honestly,
it's a different world. It's a different a big one around here is like a 2.5 pounder, and that's not a joke. Serious.
Not calling this one out today.
Right.
I remember when Mercer was here to film with you.
Yeah.
And we filmed an episode that never happened because
we didn't hardly catch anything over 10 or 11 inches that day, probably.
We didn't catch a damn thing.
We didn't catch
day.
anything.
Nothing,
Okay, well, that's
nothing.
even worse. Yeah.
But Mercer said, like, I give you guys so much credit because this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how could you even like fishing? This place sucks.
I got a quote I want to lay in there right now from Taco Ito, who straight up said, "Texas big fish too strong for me. give me 2 pounders."
Oh, well, Taco Ito, if he wants to move to the States, he can move to Jersey.
Yeah,
We've got all the 1 to 2 pounders he could ever use right here.
It's like Japan.
But it helps me in so many ways. Answering the real question.
Yeah.
I mean, we have deep fish, we have shallow fish, we have pressured fish, we have big fish. You know, we fish for small ones in our tournaments because of the slot too. We've had years of grass, we've had years of drought, you know, and just not even just Fork, but in my area, we have a little bit of everything from the Red River, an hour from my house, to Lake Fork, an hour from my house, you know, and Cypress Lakes, an hour from my house. So it's, you know, obviously it is what it is. And it's not just learning, it's just being addicted to it too. You know, it's hard for a person like you to grow up where you're from. And no, I'm not saying there's not, but you know, where I'm from, everybody fishes and we have so many bodies of water and stuff. It's got to be hard from where you're from to, you know, for a kid to get hooked on something when I have Lake Fork in my backyard compared to what you have, you know?
Yeah. So it was a challenge for a lot of us.
I'm not saying that negatively.
Yeah,
I'm just
no.
saying it's
no.
been huge for me growing up with this much water around me, and you know, and thank God we moved from Amarillo, Texas, because there's no water out there.
What's your favorite lake to fish other than Fork, Lee?
I've only been to it one time, and it's Champlain.
Oh,
okay.
That would be on my top 5 list as well.
Lee, you just won a prize.
You did. You just won a prize. Sorry, everybody. Lee won all the prizes here in front of me.
Last year we fished the St. Lawrence and Champlain, and I got my butt kicked at both of them. And I stayed for 40 days straight, fished by myself every single day.
I remember following that.
There you go.
Daylight to dark by myself on Champlain half the time and the river the other half the time, and had the time of my life. I love it up there.
That's pretty wicked right there.
Yeah.
40 days.
Sore mouth every single damn fish in that
Sore mouth them all, known by name when you go on your return trip.
Everything. I didn't just bass fish. I like to catch them all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Right on.
That's awesome. Well, I wanted that was a precursor to this next question, which is, you know, I like watching it. I like seeing it all. Now that I've stepped away, I get to watch you guys and I get to watch how it goes down. And I've seen a confidence in your fishing, Lee. I want you to talk about this because, you know, we teach fishing and we get to see a lot of people. A lot of people come through the program that they know more than I know after being a BU subscriber for a few years. They know more stuff. But teaching confidence is a very, very difficult thing. And getting to watch you last year with your win at the Chick and watching you this year, you have a confidence about you, an air of confidence. And I want you to talk about that because, you know, it's not like you're a 20-year veteran of the elites. You're still pretty fresh. You're still pretty new. You've got 2 blue trophies, but you're still pretty new. Talk about that confidence. I need you to talk about that and our listeners to hear about that.
And it's just one of those things that a lot of people don't put into the equation. And it's probably the biggest thing in fishing is confidence. And, you know, and it's nothing that you can learn. You have it. Momentum's huge too, but I mean, the guys like Kevin Van Dam and you, Ike, and guys that have been pretty dominant, like Hackney and all of them, Christy
Yeah.
and all those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not rude or anything. They're just confident and in all their abilities and techniques and practices, and they don't listen to people or doc talk. And it's so huge to trust your instincts and yourself and fish the conditions and just be confident that at the end of the day, you're going to run into something, whether it's happening or not. And it doesn't always happen right. It never happens right.
Yeah.
But if you fish hard and you're confident and you're doing somewhat the right thing, you're going to figure something out, and it's not just a thing that clicks. It is what it is, and sometimes you'll get a bad rut. Everybody does. But at the end of the day, like I said, you fish your strengths, fish what you're confident in. And at the end of the day, you're probably going to do pretty good most of the time.
Yeah.
You got to have a little attitude. You got to have a little ass in you,
Yeah.
Whether it's on the water or what, whether that's his life though, you have to, not arrogant, but you have to be confident.
Yeah. Pete and Justin, I want to hear from both you guys on this topic as well. Pete, you've guided, you've instructed clients so many years. You've been in the BU program from the beginning. And Justin, you've fished with some of the best pros in the world from the back of the boat. So I'd like to hear your guys' perspective on confidence as well. Pete, start.
Confidence, man, you got to believe all the time. It's funny you say that, Mike, because fishing this weekend down on the Chesapeake, it's not something that's automatic. Like you have to practice it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta, because I felt like when I was competing this Saturday, I started to become negative,
Yeah.
And it creeps in. The demons start creeping in.
Yeah.
And confidence is critical
Yeah.
to, keep you fishing like with almost the pure optimism at all times.
Yeah.
And it's not something that comes natural, honestly.
Right.
It's something that you get by getting out there and competing and putting yourself out there, and you get stronger and mentally tougher every time you're out there. So
the more you do it, repetition helps. Lee, how do you deal with those demons? Pete mentioned it. Happens to me all the time. I'm the most negative person in the world. How do you deal with that when those demons start
I can
creeping
answer for you. I think it's Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, that helps. Cheers. Lee, by the way, cheers. We're drinking Founders over here. But cheers. Cheers to your win.
Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
Well done, man.
How do you deal with the demons, Lee?
Hold on, let him drink.
That's a tough one, and it's one of those positive mental attitude deals that, whoever it is talks about. But, there are a couple guys that I kind of look up to. And one of those is, when I say look, and it is looking up to them, but believe in what they say. And one of those is Rick Clunn, and one of those is Brandon Polinick.
Yeah.
They're always, even Rick, Rick is 180 years old right now, and he's still out there grinding. And I talk to Rick every day. Me and Rick have this little relationship that clicks. And man, he might come in with 30 pounds, or he might come in with 2 pounds, 2 fish. And he's always the same level. There's no up or down. He's always the same even keel. And he always, talks me through what happened. But, just listening to him about, casting abilities and staying mentally in the game and stuff like that is huge for me. And just, I'm not saying I'm sitting there thinking about Rick Clunn all day, but just knowing that, you got to grind it out and, make the cast right where it's supposed to be, not miss it by 6 inches, don't miss that bush but a foot outside, skip it right where it needs to be. And the same thing with Brandon, and it kind of comes with Brandon more towards winning and closing an event, before Chickamauga. And I've said this before on maybe your podcast, I'm not sure, but, I was a nervous wreck, I'm sure, before the last night at Chick, and Brandon called me, and, I was, blah, he said, man, when it's going to happen, you can't stop it.
Yeah.
It just happens. And
Freight train.
yes, and Sunday when I caught that last 714 or whatever it was, I said, oh my God, Brandon Polinick, I can't stop this.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that, man, keeps that mental attitude up. And there's a whole another set of standards to everything too. But just stuff like that, man, will keep you in the game so much longer than getting mad and pissed off. And kicking your grass in the water and yelling at the dog.
Oh yeah, there's a trail of tears over the years for me, and the tears are Lowrance units just
Mike,
floating all over.
You told me something a few years ago after a Delaware River Federation tournament, and like I had the winning fish on twice and dropped it both times.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you get over those moments? And you were like, it's simple. When you have the good moments, it just kind of washes those things.
Oh, yeah.
Those things away. And everybody can relate to that. Like, you know, all the shitty days you've had, all the fish you've lost.
Yeah.
And then when you hook that 7-pounder at the end of the day and it gives you a 42-pound bag and you go King Kong on the front of the boat, like
it's the great
you can relate
eraser.
to it. Yeah.
It's the great eraser of negative things that have happened. Justin, I want you to jump in too, because there's a lot of people listening and watching that aren't at the top level, right? They're just at regular dudes. Tell me about confidence for you. You know, you've seen it all from the back of the boat. Tell me about confidence for a co-angler or, you know, a guy that's just casually fishing. Give us your perspective on confidence.
Yeah, and I think in my opinion, I think it's different for everybody. Like you got the John Coxes of the world who have been, you know, John's my age. Right. So we're both like 34-year-old dudes. We're living totally different lives right now. John has been confident from the get-go. He's going to gamble every penny he ever owned on making sure he got to where he's at right now. And that's freaking awesome. Me, I struggle with confidence. My whole life, self-confidence did not come easy.
Yeah.
You know, I had to have results, and then I had to do it again and do it again. And the biggest thing was that transition from the back of the boat to the front. I mean, dude, I was gonna, after last year, and then I ended the year with the All-American and the Toyota Series results and stuff with, you know, with the back of the boat. I was like, well, I'll just do it again this year because apparently that's what I'm good at. And, you know, for whatever meant to be reason happened, I found myself in the front of the boat again and realized that.
Yeah.
And that right here, like you're talking to somebody totally a new man from a month and a half ago. I'm finally confident that I can go out there and win in a big field and all that stuff. But that did not come without hours and hours. I'm married. I got 3 kids. I do not get 100 days on the water in a year. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Bass TV got me here because I'm in it every day. Like bass fishing does not turn off. I'm constantly learning from the best in the world. Yeah. Not just through the seminars. Of course, the seminars, everything we do is to put it out there. But yeah, I've been in the boat with you and Brian Thrift and Pete and all these different guys on waters. And then sitting around at the seminars, you just pick up on this and pick up on that. Yeah. All I can tell you is remember everything you can ever grab onto. And if you don't have a good memory, write it down.
Write it down. Yeah. Write it down. That's good information.
I'll give you that, JK. You have a great memory. You can remember everything from every seminar, everything from, you know, every fishing trip, every conversation that we've had. You can regurgitate the little details of it. So a lot of that comes from your passion for the sport, and that's evident. And I think that's what all of us share is that true passion out there.
I'd agree. And speaking of passion and speaking of confidence, confident anglers, we got a surprise guest. We don't do this a lot on BU Live. This is an Ike Live thing, but we do have a surprise guest, Lee, coming on tonight.
Let's see how this works.
And
of course.
And he's sideways. He's confident, but sideways. Brian,
right,
who is that? I can't even tell who it is because he's sideways.
Am I sideways?
There you go.
There you go.
Caleb!
What's happening?
What's up, man? How you doing?
What's that?
How are you, man?
Awesome, dude. You saved me about 8 pounds of crawfish and drinking a cold beer.
Wow.
8 pounds of crawfish.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
like
I miss you, man. How you doing?
Miss you, buddy. Doing good. Getting bass this year. I'm kind of liking it.
All right. So I want this is great timing because I want to pick up right where we left off and throw to you, which is I had the great opportunity of fishing with you when you started your rookie season.
That's right.
And a few years after that. And I got to watch you over the last few years develop and grow as an angler. And we're talking confidence, and you have gained that level of confidence. I see it in your fishing. How did that happen? How did you go from a lead angler that was amazing and talented, but a little unsure, to this guy that's gone out and catching them everywhere you go? And I'm watching it, and I can see it in you. How did you get to that level of confidence?
First of all, thank you, man. That means a lot coming from you. It really does, dude. You're one of the guys I looked up to getting into this deal. And I guess the best way I can answer that, dude, is I took something into this that I never thought it's kind of been my mindset is just never stop learning. You just can't, no matter, you'll never know it all about this game. And you always have to be willing to learn about not only fishing, but about yourself. And I'm not trying to sound deeply, just not trying. Yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, you have to learn, that there's certain things that you're going to have as a strength, and you need to know when those are going to play in a tournament and when those won't, and when you have to do different things. And that's kind of been my thing, going into each tournament. Like, I was really terrified of the Tennessee River event we were going to have this year. It was going to be dirty, cold water and on a river system. I've never been that far north, and that time of year just does not suit anything that I've done. And, you just kind of take them as they come and run with it. But no, dude, it's just been, you never stop learning. You can't stop learning.
Yeah, well, it's awesome. It's awesome to watch it. Both you guys are becoming a true force, or are a true force on the elites. Caleb, let me corner you on a question. We got to chat with Lee almost for about an hour now, and he had a great event. You had a great event. Give us one takeaway that you have from Fork after seeing what you did and then watching Lee win this thing, blow it away on the last day. Give us a takeaway or something, a lesson that you've learned from Lake Fork.
Man, Lake Fork is probably some of the most educated fish in the country.
Huh. Yeah.
They get taken, they grow big. The bigger they get, the smarter they get. And they're heavily pressured.
They Topwater on day 4. What are you talking about, smart?
Well, that's because Lee can throw Topwater 17 miles.
That's right.
It was not going down like that the entire event.
Let me answer this for Caleb before he talks.
Hey,
no, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying this is for people watching this it's a really good lesson. And Caleb knows what I'm going to say. Caleb was, frogging and punching and bed fishing and like right up his alley. And then I really wasn't on much. And me and Caleb are 100% honest. And I'd only caught a couple good ones out there. And like I said, I was fishing a threadfin spawn. I had like one spot pretty much I was fishing, and it developed as a tournament. And Caleb came to me and was like, hey, because I gave him some points and he'd caught a couple on a big bait. But I told him, I said, hey man, it's not good out there. You might catch a giant, but you might catch 1 8 and a 7 and then never catch another fish.
Yeah.
And you're going to bomb. And we got to that third day and he was like, hey man, you're catching these fish, do I need to run these points? I'm going to do all this cranking and swim bait and Topwater. And I told him, I said, hey dude, stop, fish your strengths.
Yeah.
It's not that good out there. It really is not. I'm fishing everything in the world with all the knowledge in the world on angles and spots, and I'm barely surviving. I got lucky and caught a gigantic bag the last day. I said, hey dude, go do your frogging, do your punching, catch a bedfish here. Yeah, go out there and run a couple of those points where you had some bites, but don't lose those points. Don't bomb to 50th and lose 36 points or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And trust me, at the end of the tournament, you're going to be happy and you're going to agree with me and you're going to see what I'm saying on live. And he went and did it, and he fished his strengths, and he caught a big bag each day and ended up in the top 20 or 21st or something like that, Caleb, I'm not sure. And I think he did exactly what he should have done and fished his strengths and the conditions and ended up good with points and a big ass check. So I think stuff like that, people have to remember and do your deal.
Yeah.
And you're going to end up where you need to be at the end of the day.
What I'm hearing, you've said it a few times now in that statement, is fisher strengths. Fisher strengths.
That's
fisher
key.
strengths.
It's very important. Yeah, it's very important.
As well as the developing pattern. is what you keyed on, right? You wound up catching 42 pounds off a pattern that wasn't happening on day 1, 2, or even day 3.
I started on the spot that he smashed on the first 2 days. I literally killed my boat there the first hour, the first 45 minutes. So I didn't give it that long the first day. It really wasn't much going on. But the second day, I gave it a little bit of time, and it just wasn't happening yet. What they might have been there, but at that point in time in the day, they weren't there yet.
Yeah.
And that it developed for him like crazy.
Polinick started the first day of practice, never had a bite.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. A lot of historically, Pete, back me up on this. Justin, back me up on this. Historically, a lot of tournament wins come on this kind of deal, right? On patterns that develop. I can't tell you how many people we've interviewed over the years that said, honestly, just like you're saying, I wasn't on shit in practice, right? And it came to them. It came to them. It developed. It happens so many times, Pete.
I've heard guys say that they don't want to completely figure them out in practice.
Right.
I've heard guys say, like Christy said it a lot, that he doesn't want to totally get dialed in practice. He just wants to get a clue of what's going on and then put it together during the event.
Yeah.
And the topwater bite that you crushed him on, you know, a week from now, it's going to be so probably overexposed, you're going to have to find a different way to catch them, you know, because the fish will have changed. But you were there getting them on topwater when they were just starting to rally on those places.
Yeah.
And that's the magic.
Out of everything that has just been said, Lee, I want to ask you, because Pete's always been talking about the developing pattern for a long time, and it's caused me to say, okay, what's happening next? What could happen next tomorrow? Is that why you went there? Did you think, hey, this could just be going down today?
100%. And you don't see how much stuff I check because everybody just remembers the 4th day. But man, I was checking so many spots each day. Check this, check this, check this. This is a threadfin shad, May, June. I checked all kinds of stuff that didn't work, and I found those fish back there and know a couple other places. Usually when this is playing, that kind of deal, So it was something, kind of luck, kind of not. But I went through a big rotation of stuff to figure out what I figured out. Like even where I caught I caught an 815 on another spot, or 814, I can't remember. I'd hit it 5 times in the tournament, but I know big ones are going to pull up there eventually. And I pulled up there and I caught that giant, and I lost a big one on a glide right after that too. So stuff like that, I obviously have some knowledge on where they get, which helped a lot. So I went through a lot more water than people realize too.
Yeah.
So what is the key here, Mike? Like during the tournament, fish all the places where you got no bites at practice?
Well, it's a hard scenario. I can tell you it's a hard scenario. But I want to throw it to Caleb on this one, and I want to hear your viewpoint on it. Sometimes guys can get overwhelmed by what they found in practice and not let go and not have the ability to change. How do you do that, Caleb? How do you get over saying, I'm just going to run these 50 waypoints that I laid and that's it? Or, letting go and fishing the moment. You've been doing a great job of it this year. How do you do that?
I can honestly say it's not easy. I still fail at doing it sometimes, but no, I know exactly what you're saying. You have to pull that plug when it's just run it. And me and Lee say it all the time, just wasn't feeling it. And that's about the best we can explain it. Like no activity on the water, or you just not getting a bite. If you're fishing for 5 to 7 bites a day or not. But if you're getting some small fish bites and throughout the day and you're not getting any of the smaller fish bites, chances are you need to pull the plug and go do something. But it's feel, I guess. It's hard to explain.
It's a gut feeling.
Gut feeling, yeah. I mean, dude, you have to roll with it. It's just instinctive, I guess.
Yeah.
Best way I can explain.
Yep, and that's a hard thing to teach. I think time on the water a lot is your friend when trying to make those decisions. Let me remind everybody, you're watching a brand new BU Live tonight. We've got 2 of the best guys in the elites right now. We've got Caleb and Lee with us live tonight. if you've got a question or comment, please send them through to Rizzo. He's backing up here, but send your questions to Riz. What do we got?
Yeah, we got one more question we're going to go to here from Patrick Loudon. He just got himself a Gills Gear gift card for this question, and he wants to know, Lee, how important was the full moon that was coming in only days after the tournament?
Ooh.
Great.
It was huge, and that's what I watched. You know, I knew that was going to pull, and it wasn't the bass. Like I said earlier, it was the gizzard shad that I was looking for. They were going to pull in and spawn on those show bars. I wasn't fishing spawning bass. I was fishing spawning gizzard shad, and they just got thicker. They're super thick right now. It was crazy.
No, I was pointing at the camera real quick because I was looking at Riz pointing at the camera like, mark it. Like, mark that, because we like to put markers on big moments right there. So many people, Pete, are falling the trap of looking at the moon in the spring, right? And they're thinking about the moon in relation to the bass spawning. Looking at the moon in relation to the bait spawning. Dude, that's key. Right. Put a marker on that, bro.
Yeah.
Put a marker on that.
Pete.
That's how I want on the gizzard spawn.
Pete, does that affect the fish that we fish for on the Chesapeake with the herring spawn?
There's no question. It affects the herring spawn. It also affects the carp spawn, which is a huge deal. That obviously a bass can't eat a 30-pound carp, but the eggs that they lay, bring so much bait fish in that bass gorge on it. And it affects everything. It really does.
Wow, it's crazy. All right, Justin, I think it's time. We've got, I know you've got an amazing list for us here tonight. And we've got two great anglers on with us to help us with this list. Justin, what do we got tonight?
I'd love it. This is a pros panel list.
Yes,
So,
yes, pros panel.
Woo!
All right.
Love the pros panel because I get to include you and Pete. And now, Lee and Caleb, I want your answers too. In fact, I'd like to start out with the four of you guys, and then I'll rattle through the guys that got back to me today. But all the pros were pitched this question on the pros panel. It's post-spawn, and you're going after a true giant. What's your one favorite bait to reach for to get it done?
Lee's got to start. He's the champion.
Big swim bait, big swimmer.
Yeah.
Whether
Any
it's
specifics?
water or 30.
Yeah. What swim bait are we talking about?
Yeah, specific.
If it's in a foot of water, I'm going to throw a 316 Rising Sun. If it's in 25 foot of water, I'm going to throw, just a big hollow belly, like a big bass tricks with, like a 1 ounce head.
Cool.
All right. Let's keep going. Caleb?
Man, if first thing I'm thinking, if it's post-spawn, I'm a shallow grass fisherman, so I got to go with punching. I love punching. It's going to catch every fish from 12 inches to 12 pounds if you're around them.
Yeah.
So, an ounce and a half to 2 ounce weight, find the thickest cover I can find and punch a D-bomb in there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right, Pete, the Dean, give it to me.
I'm going with a monster jig. I'm going with a mop style jig, something big, easy meal.
Yeah.
It's a post spawn big fish catching winner.
Oh, that's wrong answer, Pete. We actually have you down for a Senko.
And I'll weigh in last here real quick, and I'm just going to say, based on what I just saw last week, Topwater.
Yeah.
Topwater. Maybe a bone-colored saltwater silver spook.
Who knows?
Who knows? Could be. All right, there's my
Caleb, you all right?
All right, Justin, what do we got?
All right, so let's go down again. The thing I love about this is they all think through different scenarios and give you different baits. So all of our guys around the country will probably hear something that applies to them. But our buddy Brian New, he said he's in the shallow, he's reaching for a big glide bait.
Oh,
actually, kind of surprised me. And then if he's offshore, he's going big with anything to get that bigger bite. On an offshore school, he said a giant crankbait, a giant spoon, or the biggest swim bait he can get out deep. Like a soft swim bait that he can get out deep.
Okay.
James Watson said he's going to reach for his worldwide buzzer, white with a silver blade, looking for slightly off-colored water for his biggins. He's in the.
Does anybody know what James Watson's biggest is? You think like 6, 7 pounds?
He's been catching bigs.
Huh?
He's been catching bigs. He's gotten a first, second, and third in the BFLs out there.
Yeah.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, Table Rock.
Oh, all right.
Smashing them out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Sorry, James. Sort of.
All right. So Brandon Cobb, he said it definitely would vary around the country, but I'm going for a big 3-hook topwater bait in the South in the early post spawn. He said his Yozuri 3D pencil popper for him, which
okay.
I thought was interesting because the next guy, Mr. John Cox, said he's going with the cane walker. That is not what I thought he would say, and that's another pencil popper.
Pencil popper, yeah, big topwater, yeah,
for a big bite. JT Kinney, he's going with Lee's winning bait from the Chickamauga event, I believe, the Scum Launch Frog.
Oh, frog post spawn, yeah,
it's a good
He's
one.
a big frog. It's on top and it flat out works.
That makes sense.
Thank you. Our boy John Cruz, he said topwater 100%. We're starting to see a theme here. He said the bait depends on the lake. If it's grass, I'm throwing a frog, spro frog. If it's not grass, he's putting a spook style bait in his hand. Fred Rumbanis, our boy here, Freddie, no surprise here. He's slow rolling a swim bait, his 6-inch line through, matching the color to the current bait fish. He's going to be looking for wind and or current.
Ooh. Okay.
Fred, Clint Davis, he said this one's easy. A Texas rig, Mr. Twister Mag 12-inch buzzworm.
Wow.
Which, if you guys watched the Lake Eufaula brush pile event last year, you'll notice that I think Clint had a top 20 on that worm. Just random memory there. Ish Monroe, thanks Ish. Last time I had texted him, it was after he lost that big one, and he said he was walking away from the sport, but I think we reeled him back in. But he's going with his frog or an S-Waver 200. So another glide bait.
Glide bait again.
S-Waver.
Huh.
A few more here. Brian Thrift. He thought I was inviting him on the show. So he told me his first answer was I can't. But then when I brought him back, he said topwater, and I said, Brian, you have to be more specific on Bass U. And then he gave me the goods, man. He said a Depths Silent Killer, which is a glide bait again.
Damn.
And a homemade prop bait, which North Carolina, probably a bluegill deal, probably, I would guess.
Hey, JK, Brian's actual first answer was, do what now? That's a good
Do what?
Do what now?
Do what now? Do what now?
Yeah, so Gussie, he was keeping it relevant with Lake Fork. He said the Bagley B2 crankbait, which is their biggest version of a square bill. He said he caught his 2 biggest fish at Fork on it over the weekend, cranking around stumps on secondary points.
Ooh.
So that's a big scenario for Gussie. And this one, Pete's gonna like this one. Brian's not. Patrick Walters.
Oh, come on, Pat.
He ended this one kind of funny, but he said a weightless stick bait wacky style.
Oh.
and he ended it by saying LOL, but for real though.
Okay.
Yeah, so Patrick, little Santee Cooper influence there, I'm sure, with the wacky rig. I don't know if he'd want me to say this, but let's just say he power fishes the crap out of that wacky rig.
Yeah.
I'll let him explain more details on a later seminar in Bass U. But and last but not least, Kevin Van Dam, he said, I love a 10XD if it's a ledge lake. Otherwise, he's going with that Strike King Mega Dog, which that thing is absolutely huge. It weighs like 2 pounds. So he's going with that giant topwater walking bait again. Great if they are still shallower shad spawn bluegill beds. So guys, The theme of the night,
Yes.
outside of
Overwhelming.
other
Topside.
topwater and glide baits in the post spawn for your biggest giants. There you go. The pros panel.
Wow.
Very nice.
Good deal.
Amazing. Speaking of giant topwaters, Caleb, I want to run this past you. We had an anonymous tip come through just now on our social media site from Ronnie Moore. I don't even know who that is. Might work for Bass. Said, Caleb, is it true you were passed out drunk the night Lee won?
What? Maybe.
I don't know.
It might be true. Pray for me.
You with me the whole time.
I can tell you the last big one I won, I'm trying to think, it was so long ago, I can't remember when it was. I think I got pretty drunk myself. So it's nice to celebrate, right?
Yeah.
Call it a celebration.
Dude,
How was the
remember
How was the celebration at the Minnow Bucket?
And we just hung out. We didn't do anything too crazy.
Huh.
Remember the last time we went to Philly
Caleb,
for your
you all
birthday?
right?
I'm good, dog.
Oh, okay.
Caleb, you all right?
I'm all right.
The last time we went to Philly, for, was it Yards? We went to Yards Brewery.
Yeah, I broke my leg that night.
Yeah, we went for your birthday.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you went home, and we all went out and celebrated.
That's right. Yeah, it was my birthday. I went home,
That's
went to
the
bed.
That's the last
That's
time
because
I
I'm
went out.
old, though.
Oh my God, that was bad.
Like 80.
That was.
We celebrated your birthday, and you weren't even there.
I wasn't even there.
We ended up in a hookah bar.
It's a hookah bar. That's right. You guys did. I remember that. Yeah. Hookah bar.
Somebody threw up on the dance floor and kept dancing.
Jeez, Louise.
Never missed a beat.
That's crazy.
All right, onward.
Onward. I've got Pete. We've got a great trivia question that you're going to throw through here in just a second. But I did have one.
I
other
also have
question.
a tackle warehouse list. as well.
Tackle warehouse list. Okay, let me bring through one other question I saw on our social media, and this was for Lee and Caleb. And the question was from Barry. Barry wanted to know, what tournament are you looking forward to the most for the remaining Elite Series? Lee, let's start with you.
Champlain.
Champlain.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah.
Learned a lot in that 40 days.
Yeah. Caleb?
I can't disagree with that one, but I'm ready to get back to Gunnersville.
Gunnersville. I agree with that.
Pretty close to last one time we were there, and
Yeah.
a lot of grass. It's got a lot of bass. So
Yeah. They're good
Good
ones.
stuff.
That is good stuff. All right, Pete, what do we got? We got some TW stuff. What do we got?
Yeah, let's go with the TW list because I had a Corey prepare as I thought would be the case, a best-selling topwater walking baits.
Oh, okay.
Catching 42 pounds, I thought that was appropriate. Who here on the panel has a guess as the number one selling tackle warehouse walking bait?
it has to be spook.
The spook. And it is not the spook.
No.
Good guess. It is good guess.
Justin, you're not allowed.
Okay.
What's the Berkeley one called?
The Jaywalker.
The Jaywalker and the Cane Walker.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Cane Walker.
All right. Good guesses. Good guesses.
Can I take another one?
Yeah. What do you got?
What about Lucky Crab Sammy?
Ooh,
Oh, the
that is a good
Sammy.
guess.
Yeah, that is a good guess.
That's
Lucky
a-
Craft.
Can I throw one in, Pete?
Sure, you can.
The Hula Papa. Red Arbogast time.
Yep. That is on Jake Gluzek's number one. That's his favorite.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna say Sexy Dog.
All right.
Sexy Dog. What are you saying?
Strike King Sexy Dog.
That's a good one.
Number 10. Strike King,
my God.
Sexy Dog,
Wow.
Hard Knock. Number 9, the Head and Feathered Super Spook Junior. Number 8, Lucky Craft makes the list with the Gunfish, not the Sammy.
That fish is good bait.
That's a good
Yep.
bait. That is a good bait.
The I'm a Little Stick 135 walking bait. Number 6, the Head and One Knocker Spook.
Ooh.
Number 5, River to Sea Bubble Walker.
What?
Number 4 is I don't know that bait. River to Sea Pro Tuned Rover.
What is it?
What?
Pro Tuned
The-
Rover. Number 4.
It was a Vixen copy. Yeah.
These are big sellers, guys. These are no joke.
Oh, must be young people buying them. roll.
Number 3, the Strike King Sexy Dog.
There you go. There you go.
Yep. Number 2, boom, the Heddon Super Spook.
There you go.
Including the saltwater edition. What's the difference between the saltwater and the freshwater edition other than the hooks? Is there any noise or sound, or is it just color? What's the difference, Lee?
Maybe a different patterns, and they come with the gray style hooks. I could be wrong, which we change out anyway, but I think they have different patterns. That's it.
Caleb,
Do they use rings? I thought they used different split rings.
Yeah, I think it's just different hooks and rings.
All right.
Hooks and rings. Number 1, nobody guessed. Evergreen Topwater.
Shower blows.
Shower blows.
No, it's the SB Topwater plugs. Evergreen.
That is
shower blows.
That is the shower blows.
Is that the shower blows?
SB,
Wait a
shower
minute.
blows.
SB, shower blows.
Yeah, that would be SB. You're right.
That's the one that we all didn't want to say.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a good one. That's a good
Well, now-
Topwater.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about it anyway.
I didn't guess.
Wow.
Golly. I caught my biggest smallmouth ever on that bait. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a great bait, and thank you, Tackle Warehouse. We appreciate you guys. And do you want to get the trivia question? You guys ready for this?
Out there.
Yeah. Do we
Kick
want
it
to
out
let
there,
these guys go, or?
Yeah, let them go.
Yeah, Lee looks hungry.
Okay.
Caleb's
Do you
still
want to hear the
tired.
trivia question, Lee? It relates to the heaviest bag in history.
But you can't answer it.
You can't answer it.
But you can hear it.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to go.
Go.
The question is, what is the heaviest one-day catch in BASS history, and who did it? The heaviest in history. You guys can hang around or listen to the replay, but if you guys want to go, you can go ahead and go. But it's a spectacular answer.
Spectacular.
Let's let Lee get some dinner, man.
Yeah, we're gonna let both these guys go. I want to say again, for both of you guys,
Thank you.
Lee and Caleb,
Yeah.
congratulations. The last couple of years, you guys are kicking ass.
Yes.
You guys are the future of the sport. I appreciate your energy, your positivity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are doing great. We appreciate you coming on BU Live tonight. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Congrats. Great. Thank you.
Well done.
There you have it, guys. What a show. Special surprise guest, Caleb coming
was
in
awesome.
there at the end. That was awesome, too. And, of course, Lee Livesay joining us fresh off of his Lake Fork win. Man, a lot of golden nuggets there tonight, Brian DeCarpenter. Dude, gold tonight. A lot of bookmarks. I kept pointing at Riz all night. A lot of bookmarks tonight. Talking about so many good pieces of information. Big bass, the baits, pre-spawn, post-spawn, shad spawn,
This
gizzard
spawn,
shad,
that spawn.
moon, being silent, turning off your junk, long cast, parabolic rod. Come on, man. Tell me all the markers, Justin, happened tonight. This is loaded with markers.
Braided Topwater, you know?
Man.
15 up.
Crazy. We got a winner already, believe it or not, Pete.
ASAC, 45 pounds and 4 ounces.
Do you want to wait a minute? Do you guys want to guess at the heaviest winning weight, single day weight in the history of bass?
Rich can't guess. He's
Yeah,
looking
but
at
at
it.
that point, I'll probably get a few more answers, but let it fly. Let him fly.
It's a Mike. Take a guess. This is now. It's a kind of a loaded trick question.
Okay.
It's before the 5 bass limit.
Oh, I don't know the answer to it then. I
Hey.
have no idea.
Okay. Are
Dean
you-
D. Thomas.
It is not D. Thomas or Dean Rojas. The weight. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Now we have a winner already, so Riz picked it, but
Okay.
the weight is 98 pounds, 15 ounces.
98 pounds, 15 ounces. So almost 99 pounds for a single day limit. But what was the limit, Pete?
15 bass.
15 bass.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yeah.
basically like a 3-day derby.
It happened in 1969. on
69.
on Lake Eufaula, and it was Rip Nunnery. And he fished with another guy in his boat.
Tom Mann Jr.
His weight
Tom Mann.
was 81 pounds.
Oh my
What a
God.
day.
That's a lot of dead bass that day.
It was. They came in on a stringer at that time.
Damn right.
And
Oh
it was crazy. As a matter, there was all kinds of stuff. This is courtesy of Ken Duke, but
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Lee C. Having a hell of a night, kid. Just
Lee
won,
C
won
is our
yourself.
winner?
Yeah, Lee C. won yourself the grand prize. TH Marine. Shout out to him.
Mega Pack.
Love those guys over there.
TH Mega Pack.
Luke, if you're listening, that hot foot would be awesome. But
we need a hot foot.
Yo, Luke.
And a boat doesn't have a hot foot. Pete and Justin, what a show. Dude, what a show. What a great show. I've been on some good ones lately. This was a good one. A lot of great information. I love it. I love being on the show, hearing it from these guys. I want to say it one more time. This is a little tidbit of what you're going to get as a BU subscriber. If you're not already subscribed, if you're watching and listening for the first time tonight and you're saying, oh, my God, this was great. This was mind-blowing. Well, guess what? We're giving you this every day. It's at your fingertips, phone, computer, tablet, whenever you need it, whenever you want it. We have it for you. Pete and Justin, how can they sign up? Give us some info, and if they're watching, they want to be a member, how can they do it?
JK, you take it.
BashU.tv. Go. It's just as easy as click and sign up, guys. We made the sign-up process really easy. You're going to get, like what Riz said, 3 new releases a week. You're going to get the live show, too, so that's like 4. Oh, and by the way, this week, every now and then you get a bonus 5th. Because there'll be a new edition of the Winner's Circle, the one-on-one winning interview with Pete Glusek. He interviewed Matt this week. I love this new special project. We've done about 4 or 5 of them now. And so when there's other tournaments and say we don't have them on the live show, we really try to get them to sit down with Pete and get you guys nuts and bolts. And so this week, man, that's 5 releases. We are absolutely trying to shred the content for you guys.
Yep.
The shoe juice is flowing.
It's awesome.
Flowing.
Yep. Matt Becker won fishing the herring spawn. So similar to what Lee just did.
Yes.
Wow.
Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, a lot of top water in his arsenal. I saw spinnerbait in his arsenal. Very, very cool to see him working a herring spawn. Like you said, Peter, right around the same time in a totally, completely different part of the country. Pretty neat.
Super modified fluke style Guggen bait that he used to win that tournament. Very interesting stuff. That's gonna be released very soon.
Fluke.
Good
Fluke
stuff. We got a Facebook like and share winner for our folks over there on Facebook as well. Got yourself a blade crate and a crank bank headed your way. Congratulations, Mr. Adam P. Harvey. You got some Flambeau headed your way.
Adam P. Harvey, Flambeau winner, like and share tonight. Pete, amazing show as always. Great guests, stupendous content tonight. Stupendous. Want to remind everybody, Pete mentioned it earlier in the night, but another great reason to be a subscriber to BU. All these crazy exclusive member discounts if you're a BU member.
Yep.
40 to 50% off Rapala VIP, Rapala VMC, 40% off Flambeau, 30% off Missile, $25 off Cashin, 25% off Gills Gears, 15% off Empire Covers, 50% off Sea Clear. Dude, TW discounts. Come on. This is crazy. It pays for itself just in those discounts. We want you to be a member. Please come over, check us out. We're teaching bass fishing every day. Dude, what a good show. I don't even know what else to say. This is one where I don't even know how to do an outro because I'm kind of blown away. You know?
There was some good stuff, man.
Juice.
Yeah, and like so overlooked but so seriously key is to slow down and quiet down.
Quiet.
Yeah. Shutting the electronics off.
Key.
What's the deal with pulling the trolling motor out of the water?
Because, the deal is like...
Is he afraid of a fish, get a big one wrapping it?
Could be that, or it could be residual noise from the motor,
or he's not using it.
I mean, you've got the shaft of the motor and waves, right, making a sound. A lot of those units, even in standby, you still have that clicking, even in standby, right? So if he had a forward-facing sonar and that thing's still clicking away, he wants that pinging out of the water. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Get that shit out.
What do you think?
Big part of it might be fish fighting too.
Could be.
Yeah. How many more fish do you think we would catch out on the grass flats?
A lot.
If everybody used a push pole
a
to get around out there.
If Ike wasn't on pad cutting through the spot you're casting.
Yeah, I can't slow down. That's one of my problems. I'm a self-admitted fast fisherman. I can't slow down.
I remember the last one I fished with you out there. The power poles would go down.
Yeah.
Before you got that cast back in, they were back up again.
Right.
They didn't stay down for a full cast.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. I just fished with Riz out there, and I would power pole down if we caught one or if we
Okay.
had a bite. And I would maybe take another cast there or two, and then I'm gone.
Yeah.
And that's wrong. I know.
There's times when it's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Times when it works.
There's times when it works.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Great show.
Great show. Want to thank everybody for watching tonight, man. I'm blown away. Had a great episode here talking about big bass, pre-spawn, post-spawn, spawning fish. It was a great show. I want to thank our guest, Lee Livesay, for coming on. Want to also thank Caleb Summerall for coming on tonight with us. Want to thank the crusts of BU, Pete Glusick, our dean, and JK. Thank you guys for a great show, as always. Appreciate your input.
Thanks for hosting tonight, Mike.
Thank
Great
you.
to have you.
I appreciate it. I'm dog tired. I'm literally going to finish this beer and go to sleep as soon as this camera shuts off. Want to thank Brian the Carpenter and, of course, Rich Rizzo for all the help tonight. This was a stupendous show. Brian, do we have another show next Tuesday, right? Every Tuesday.
Every
That's
Tuesday.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Mark your calendars.
Mark your calendar. Next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Do we know a guest yet, or we're working on it?
We're working on it, but
Okay.
I would like to have Keith Carson on the next show.
Ooh. Okay.
Winner of the NPFL event, and
Nice.
and a few other things I have in mind for that one. But
there you have it.
Yeah, Keith's a pretty awesome guy, and
On
wins
fire.
awards. He's that guy like JK that lacked the confidence, and John Cox just kept telling him, "Dude, you're good.
Yeah.
Dude, Lee Livesay was saying the same stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that he had to have somebody
Yeah.
convince him that he's good at this
Yeah.
thing and to go for it.
Yeah. Well, Keith's got 2 big wins now in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's fishing the classic. And
Yeah.
He's got an open win, an LMFAO win.
Yeah.
LMFAO.
Yep.
And we are going
this year. He got waitlisted. He couldn't get in the opens this year.
Wow.
Might have been
really.
I don't know if he had to go to the NPFL or if he was going to just do both anyways. But he didn't get to do the opens. He's in the classic off of an open win, and he fires out another win. I mean, and his first tournament, Eufaula, he had 2 fish for 5 pounds on day 1 and stormed back for like a top 10 or something.
That's right.
Wow.
Yep.
He's a hammer, man.
Yeah, no, he can catch them.
Yeah, he can.
And the week after that, we've got Randall Tharp fired up for a really, really good show.
Ooh,
Would have
that'll
been
be a
on.
good one.
Yeah, he would have been on last week, but Pete had boat issues.
And we will be live from the Open, the Randall Tharp edition, 2 weeks from now.
Oh,
good
Nice.
stuff.
Live from the BASS.
Does that mean you and Rich are going to be there?
I will be there.
I'm going to be at Carr Reservoir for
Oh, goodness gracious.
for the state qualifier.
Well, we're off that week then.
Yeah. Wow, we're doing. That's going to be cool, man. Everybody's on the road.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you got going on? You got a couple of things going on with the foundation, right? A little online tourney.
Yes. Yes, we still have this is the last week of the Fish Against Ike competition. Invite everybody to go to ikefoundation.org, get information on that. You could also go over to Fish Donkey and put in Fish Against Ike. All that money's, of course, going to help get kids fishing. And then I want to remind everybody again, man, we're less than a week away from Big Bass Week. If you're familiar with Shark Week on TV, it's like that, but better because these are largemouth and not sharks.
Yes.
So,
And Ike Live this coming Sunday night.
Ike Live this coming Sunday.
You heard it here first.
We haven't even said anything. Should we announce? Let's announce it. Let's announce since we got a little crew in here. Are we 100% on that? You want me to go ahead and say it?
We're not 100%.
All right, but let me just go say it anyway. 99% sure. That way I'm covered, right?
Dependent upon Wi-Fi.
Okay, dependent upon Wi-Fi. This Sunday,
big
which
one.
is let me give you the right date here. May 2nd, Sunday, May 2nd,
2021.
2021. We have a veteran of bass fishing on. So excited. Zell Rowland
Ooh.
on Ike Live. Zell Rowland.
Break it off. Break it off.
Some great stories. I cannot wait. Can you wait, Pete, for the stories that come from Zell? Think about his history.
Will he remember Chris Delfonso?
Will he remember Chris Delfonso? No, he won't.
Break it
remember
off.
Chris, but all the great stories. And,
Yeah.
and he's part of the history of the sport.
He's
you know?
done nothing but fish since he's been a teenager.
It's crazy.
It is.
That's wild.
It's so many stories. He was in this at the beginning, almost at the beginning.
Wow.
And he almost won the classic on the Chesapeake.
On the Chesapeake, out of the marina that me and Riz went in for 15 minutes.
Yep.
Hey, this just in real quick. A late text, a late answer to the pros panel. Post spawn, what's your favorite big bass bait? And Gerald Swindle comes at us with the buzz bait. You can see his new buzz bait seminar next week on Bass U TV.
It's a really good one.
Zell pretty much invented Topwater.
He probably did.
Invented fishing.
He invented fishing. Yeah.
Man, what a show.
What a show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Hope you learned something. Once again, if you're not a subscriber, please go over and subscribe to BU. Thank you. Have a great Tuesday, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Good night. We love you.